Good morning, everyone. Trust you had a wonderful evening. It was hotter than blazes here in Wichita. It was at 10 o'clock last night. It was 90 degrees with 70% humidity. It really reminded me of being way down south. Hard to get away from. So we're in our full-blown summer. I can remember sitting on the stoop at Laredo Air Force Base many moons ago. And at 9 o'clock at night it'd be 90, 92, and the wind would be blowing 25 to 30, but without the humidity that we have. So definitely summer, definitely very grateful for that modern invention called air conditioning. And when you look back on modern inventions that really opened up and really changed people's lives and lifestyle, the reason everybody lived up north before the invention of air conditioning was the temperatures. It was just the summers in the south were miserable, and now with air conditioning, not too bad. So anyway, full summer here. There is moisture around us, but they're looking for 95s to 100s for the next week or so, and it is July, the hottest month of the year, so things are normal. Okay, today's a pretty interesting day. The China is talking about injecting another $1 trillion into their municipal debt market to support that. Things are pretty tenuous in China. China's equity markets were down. In fact, the only equity market in the world that's up is Japan's, as our markets open this morning. And Japan usually does dance to a different beat than the rest of the world's market. So China's stock markets on the third day sold. Carney says an interest rate increase for England. The Bank of England is getting close. Janet Yellen will testify tomorrow and Wednesday on interest rate increases for the United States. I doubt if she changes anything that she's stated recently, and that's been an interest rate increase for this year would be appropriate given the right economic news. And today we have some of that economic news that could speed or slow the decision by the Fed. First piece of news we have today is NFIB Small Business Optimism Index, which is higher than it was last month at 98.3. Then we have retail sales called up 0.3. And here's the kicker: X Auto plus 0.6. X Auto and gas plus 0.6. So if these numbers come in as forecast, and the focus will be X Autos right here, then the Fed can raise interest rates sooner rather than later. And the language that will be used is that there's enough slack in the U.S. economy to absorb an interest rate increase. I really don't think there is, but I'm not in charge of that policy. Import-export prices up 0.1. All the reports out of Europe overnight were about inflation. CPI numbers were down, so inflation is not a problem according to the statistics. Go out and try to buy gasoline, go out and try to buy food, go out and try to rent an apartment, and you'd probably disagree with the Fed statistics. And business inventories up 0.2. So this news right here could change things. It could make the Fed raise interest rates sooner rather than later, and we'll get Yellen's input Wednesday. Her input last Friday said an interest rate increase in 2015 would be appropriate. So we had pretty heavy selling yesterday. You can see that 24, 28 is definitely resistance right up here. And don't know if we can get there, but we'll play for it starting out. So 23, 27, sell 1. 31.03. Sell 2, pretty much where we were last night. On the buy side, 9 to 13, buy 1. And that's where we were last night, and that's where the low was. So Our homework last night stands, and then 1 to 5 for buy 2. Now, the issue is going to be right in here, this area. We may not be able to get through 20, so we may have to take a lower price. We're dealing with a B. On the overnight session, we're dealing with a B from yesterday, so the longer term direction of the market remains lower, so the bias is to the downside. It's not to the upside, and it would take a pretty big piece of news to change that, in my opinion. So it might take 20s to 24s to get off a short, but we're going to try for 23s to 27 and 31s to 03s. And the onus is, I think we have plenty of time to get long. The onus will be on the short side. You'll have to make that decision faster rather than slower. Knob spread strengthened overnight, so I think that in and of itself will try to hold us in a trading range this morning, but that baby can move quickly and does. Okay, we're currently at 30. We have 01, 02, 08. So this 4 to 8 area up here looks like pretty solid resistance. So 3 to 7, sell 1. And again, we might be in a situation where it might take the buck to get in. Don't know. I think we can do better though than 15 to 19 for sell 2. Pick up the London high. And yesterday we had a 7 to 11 sell, and then a 19 to 23. So the sell area for sell bands holding up reasonably well. On the buy side last night we had a 21 to 25 and then a 9 to 13, so just touched the bottom end of it off the opening yesterday. On the buy side, bottom of value is 17. We're at 31, so 21 to 17 buy 1. Lean on the structure, and then we'll make 5 to 9 buy 2. Retail sales is the number. If you know that number, if it comes in less than 6/10 ex autos, then you definitely want to be long. Okay, gold was quiet overnight. It has been quiet. There's a lot of details to be worked out on the Greek deal. It's got to be sold to Parliament first. That's not an easy sale. So I think we're where we have been. We've got support in the 50 area. So 51 to 49 will be buy 1. And then 45, 47 buy 2. This is going to be, and it always is, the problem with Greek and the Greek population is that their economy is off by about 25%. They've got unemployment rates, especially in their youth, over 30%. So a lot of damage has been done to the economy, and you're asking people, you know, you cut off the dog's tail inch by inch, and now they're going to cut it off, you know, all the way. And 4 years ago, when they could have done it, they didn't do it. And again, those are very, very tough political decisions. Very difficult to make and keep your job. And the number one job for a politician is staying in office. And they don't care. They're on the gravy train if they can get up there and get elected. And as long as they can stay elected, things get better. In the United States, if you get 6 years, 1 term as a senator, 3 terms as a congressman, you're fully vested in one of the most lucrative, well, across the board for an entire organization, it's the most lucrative retirement and medical plans available, period. And that's why they fight so hard to get there and stay. Okay, a lot of talk about what comes next for Greece. Confiscation of upwards of 30% of depositors' funding in banks. One of the ideas out there is that Brussels will now control which Greek banks fail and which Greek banks survive. One of the talks is there'll be a bad Greek bank where all the bad debt will be consolidated, which will make it easier for the EU and the European Central Bank to control and work with those. I mean, there's a lot of stuff up in the air, and all of it comes at a cost. So right now, there's a little doubt if we've got a deal, because the details have yet to be worked out. So this market tends to rally when there's doubt, but a deal is impending, and then as soon as the deal is announced, it gets smacked, and I don't think that's any different. So we got a buyer at 75 in the buck. So buy 2 is at 75. Play for a trading range. Janet Yellen's testimony will tend to hold us there in a trading range also. And we're going to sell 50 plus or minus, and then 75 for sell 2. And we'll just look for a trading range and for it to the current trading range to hold. Crude oil. Okay, the Iranian deal is now official, and they signed it, which has to tell you that Iran has gotten everything that they wanted plus more. It is a sham. This guarantees that the world will leave them alone, except for maybe Israel as they become a nuclear power. You could not give the bomb to a worse country in the world than Iran, because they're expressed and stated goal. I mean, even now they're screaming death to Satan as they've gotten damn everything that they want. This makes other deals given to tyrants and dictators pale in comparison, in my opinion, and probably most of the world's opinion too. So Iranian oil can, as much as they can pump, they'll be able to sell right now, and that's what's taking crude oil prices down. So we got a buyer below 51 right now, and we definitely have a seller above 53. So we'll make, I think we'll get stops above the overnight session high, so 52.25, 52.50, sell 1, let them get stops, and then we'll make it 53 plus or minus for sell 2. On the buy side, 51 and a quarter, buy 1, and then 50 and a quarter, 50.20, 50.25, 50.51 for buy 2. I mean, it is just, I don't think anybody's comfortable with anything that's going on. I mean, pretty much in any any place on the globe. I mean, you can't be very comfortable about what's going on in China. Russia is fomenting unrest as in many places as they can. The European Union, what comes after Greece is Portugal next. I mean, it's just in the United States, what's coming next. The Fed now has the right, or are claiming the rights to go in and force suburbs and counties and agencies, if they take federal money, to fund and build subsidized housing where the federal government tells them such. So I don't think it'll happen in Connecticut first, but if I were in Texas or a red state, I would think the first test of the Fed power to do that will come in Texas. And right now the Fed's holding most of the cards. Okay, we rallied yesterday in the stock market off of the euphoria over Greece. We held the overnight gains, but we got this 95 to 2100 is probably pretty solid resistance. So 95, 97. Self-failure to take that out. I think it's worth a shot. The good news rallied the market. Now, do we really have a deal or not? Then 99 to 01 for sell 2. We have Yellen's testimony tomorrow, raising interest rates, as she says, sooner rather than later, has hurt the stock market. We have today's retail sales numbers to get through, and if as forecast, they should take us a little bit higher. So that's why the 95, 97 self-failure. So retail sales plus 0.3. The focus is X autos plus 0.6. That's both of these are very strong numbers, and both of these would give Janet, if they continue to do this summer, give Janet the ability to raise interest rates. And this market has been strong off of lower interest rates and Fed injections into the stock market, and they're even more direct now than they have been. X autos and gas at plus 0.6%. Import-export prices, both of them are called up 1/10. Won't really impact the market. Business inventories up 2/10, won't impact the market. So the news focus is right here. Retail sales, X autos up 0.6%. That is a strong number. It will allow Janet to raise interest rates sooner rather than later. Okay, I'm going to give it some room to the downside. 85.87. Pick up this area right in here. Buy one. Have to adjust after the news. And then 80.82. Buy two. Okay, take about 20 minutes to get everything up and posted. I'm going to get busy on that. Got news on the half hour, which is likely to tell the tale of today's tape. It's a strong number. I think the E-mini is probably going to hang in until I see what the number is. And then we'll see if they think it's high enough for the Fed to increase interest rates sooner rather than later. Janet Yellen speaks to market tomorrow. It tends to hold markets in check until she has spoken. Doubt if she changes anything that she's said of late, as late as last Friday. Be with you as soon as possible.